אמיר עפרוני הוא ראש מנהל מאמנים וסימולציה במפעל היבשה באלתא, תעשייה האווירית. נושא ההרצאה שלו, מעבדות קרב וסימולציה ככלי מהותי בפיתוח מערכות אוטונומיות.
Hi, I would like to use this short session to discuss with you about simulation and Battle Lab as a key enabler for develop autonomous system. So I would like to start from the end. There was a program demonstration of future combat vehicle called Carmel about 1 year ago, which I'm glad to say it was a successful demonstration for the IDF. Was including autonomous mission and autonomous system. So let's take a short clip to see it.
כאן קרמל, אני מזהה מספר מטרות, אני שולח רחפן.
רכב בצד שמאל, בצד ירי, מטרה הושמדה. מבצעים עלינו ירי.
מבצע ירי.
הושמדה.
מעולה.
מזהה חי"ר.
אני מזהה.
מבצעת ירי. המטרה מושמדת.
זה תנועה, נזז השטח ויש פה דן. קודם כל, דן אחד, אני מנהל אש על 7 מטרות.
Okay, so for this short session, I would like to share with you about the main attribute and challenges the autonomous system facing on top of the manual system, what the lab is needed for, some simulation technology aspects, and wrap up and summary. So we're talking about autonomous system, the present, especially in the future. We're talking about mainly on system of system, meaning not just a weapon, not a sensor, not a platform, and not a several platform, but multi-platform, multi-disciplines, multi-domains, multi-area, and multi-missions. On top of that, the level of autonomy, it's not just a remote session that we take the robot and give him forward and backwards. It's not a fully automated system. It's the top end of man-unmanned teaming, which bring into the table the best of the manual and the man and unmanned all together as the integral of the best of breed. The unique challenges the autonomous system is facing on top of the manual, when we have a dilemma that there is no solid answer what is good and what is wrong, in the manual system it may consider as a glitch or human error, while in the autonomous system there is no such. Either it's good or it's an anomaly. There's no exception at all. Field test. In the field test, and I believe in this seminar, you saw that there are challenges of having field test. When you have a test pilot or test driver, it's well controlled, mitigated, and so on. While an autonomous system, the risk is much higher, especially when it's auto-mission, not autopiloting, auto-mission. And even the regulation are not in place yet to struggle and mitigate the risk involved. Proficiency. Proficiency, traditional-wise, it's bring up to the table the best of the machine and how the user is using it. One thing is to be perfect operational-wise. Secondly is to be perfect by operating the platform. All of that takes some learning curve. It takes some while before you may define this profession one. In the autonomous system, have to be out of the box day one with the professionally embedded. Of course, it's improved down the road, but there is no such to take the while and be ready for this. So this is another challenge. And confidence. When you're talking about manual system, it's mainly self-confidence. How good you feel and comfortable you feel will activate the platform. When we're talking about man-unmanned teaming, it's mainly giving trust. To be confident someone else will do the job, it's much more complicated and, I would say, almost frustrating. In general, auto systems are aggressively judged, and how we tackle it. The lab main objectives are AI Academy, learning, have the skills, the method, and the ways the system could learn and to be tested. Safety test, as I mentioned before. Operational effectiveness, not less important, to make sure there is operational effectiveness before develop the system. And like that, avoid a lot of time and money consuming. Man-on-man teaming, human factor engineering. Very important, have to have the method to convince the user, the manual or the human user, that the system is there for him and not escaping from him. And of course, system-of-system integration, very important manner, very complicated, very important to do it in the lab before in field. The sensing and simulation are the eyes and the ears of the autonomous system. There is no eyes, there is no visual, only by the sensor. Therefore, we have to make sure that we have the appropriate variety of fidelities of sensor. For example, in this clip, you would see LIDAR, laser detector simulation, 500,000 samples per second, very aggressive, very challenging. With that, we have over here visual sensor with rain. We see there is a rain, but we have to make sure there is a degradation in the identification and detection of the sensor. With that, we have to make sure the richness of the arena. The richness of arena is very important, especially with system of system. Over here, we could see a big urban area, hundreds or even thousands of buildings, trees, roads, even the rooftop are in very high details. And even when we're approaching market area with the pedestrians, animals, all of that, it's just not because it's a cool thing to see, but it's a challenge to the sensor to detect. If you would see over here vegetables, roofs, chicken, sheep, the chicken and sheep over there are for purpose, to make sure there is a challenge for the system to differ between human entity and animal entity. So it's not a game, it's reality, almost. Again, when we have a big arena and a big system of system, we have to verify that the challenge is there for a long time. Over here, what you can see is a dynamic arena. This building, there is a soldier going through the building because he go into the doors, windows, and find the appropriate path, the shorter one. After a while, the building destroyed. You have to detour it. So one thing, it's the artificial intelligence of the entity. And second thing is the system who observe it have to understand the area and the background was changed, recalculate the mission. AI Academy. We're talking about massive scenarios, runs, hundreds, thousands, even millions. And we have to make sure it's not the same. Not more of the same, but there is deviation between them. With that, batch runs. Batch runs meaning we have to accelerate at the same time, not waiting months or months before we have result in database. We have to accelerate to have a result in a timing manner. Of course, we need some statistics and analysis tools to analyze all the data. And there is such a dilemma between high fidelity and sim rate. Meaning if I would go to very high rate, I cannot run a very high fidelity simulation or a physical one. So we have to find the appropriate balance between two things. It's a matter of goal-oriented, what you really want to do. Human factor engineering. Again, we're not talking about fully autonomous system. We're talking on teamwork between human and unhuman. So in this left-hand side, you would see a few concepts. On the down left-hand side, there is an Xbox controller. We were brave enough, we took the courage, I would say, to try to use Xbox instead of the traditional wheels of a tank. As a matter of fact, it's a manageable brave or manageable courage. We tried again and again and again in the lab before we had the guts to put it on the field and demonstrate it. I'd be humble to say it got a very good impressions. On the right-hand side, we have to build a trust with the system. In this example, we see a convoy auto supply convoy of some materials, trucks, vehicles, and drones. All of a sudden, water trucks take it to the right. Is it anomaly, or is it smart logic of the system? This kind of thing have to be solved in the lab, build the confidence in the system. Test and safety, of course, we have to take care about artificial field test. As I mentioned, it's very important to mitigate the risk in the lab. The more simulation you do, less on-field debugging and rework back to the design table. Safety test method have to be in place. It's better off to do automatic test, but bear in mind, you have to test the tester. This is a complete method. We don't have the time for this. And of course, you have to be repeatable and reliable. Again, test the tester. This is the key part. Simulation lab, in a nutshell, the simulation lab all about, what is the architecture about it? So logically, it's one big lab. Eventually, it's neighborhood of few labs. We have the main battle lab. We do the system performance, operational effectiveness, demonstration, and field dry runs. On the right-hand side, you would see the AI Academy, stand on its own, running in the nights, burning electricity, and doing the job. And we have, of course, the human factor engineering lab and the traditional integration lab. Though all of them are connected together, we have connectivity between them. We share assets, computer-generated forces, databases, and so on. And of course, we have to keep the open architecture. Why is that? Because you know that there is no one vendor that holds the best simulation. We have someone expert in radar simulation, someone else in visual, someone else in electronic, in network, and so on. It's better off to have open architecture, avoid vendor lock. Like that, you would have the best in breed per time. By the way, in the right-hand side, you would see a gaming technology, Unity. It's almost visual reality, very, very high level, free. So, capturing all what we have done, before we introduce the Carmel, we mature and develop those capabilities: auto-driving, data fusion, operational awareness, man-on-man teaming, and automation. All of that capsules together to a one demonstration or a one integrated system that's doing all the job together in harmony. Main recommendation: do challenge the system. Don't scare. Do challenge the system. The more you challenge, the success will come. The return of investment is guaranteed, even in the very same program. When you have a program to develop, put the budget, put the effort, make your own lab, guarantee it will worth it. Keep open architecture and be welcome to explore and adopt all technology out there, thanks to the fact that you're not vendor locked. And it's not one shot. It's everlasting, improving domain. You keep on developing, developing, developing. This is the nature of the labs. For summary, we're talking about autonomous system of system. SimLab role become more and more dominant as the automation rise, and it is. And the man-on-man will keep last long. There is no such without the human being. It's more challenging, but it's better. And let me finish with a small clip. Donald Rumsfeld, 20 years back, briefed the DoD.
There are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know know.
So the SimLab is the ultimate enabler to prepare for the unknown unknowns. And this is the best we can do out, inside, and before going to the field. Thank you.